Having to choose alternatives from a number of options is a fundamental part of our lives. Markets have developed in virtually every society throughout history as a means of improving the lives of its participants. The market system is the mechanism that facilitates both buyers and sellers. A market brings buyers and sellers together in a voluntary exchange that each considers will make them better off. Players in the market respond to changes in prices, which send signals to sellers. The collective demand for a certain good by consumers communicates the level of supply that can and will be sold at various prices. Identifying the amount of money consumers are willing and able to pay for something, and the amount producers are willing to accept for that product determines the market price. We participate in a number of markets every day: the labor market, the healthcare market, the housing market, the agricultural market, the automobile market, and the stock market. The demand schedule is a table showing how much of a good or service people are willing to purchase at various prices during a specified period of time, all other factors being held constant. Consider for a minute the time dimension, where the schedule represents a snapshot of a certain point in time. When building this model, we assume that the products under consideration are constant quality units, where each unit is equal in value and utility to the customer. A couple of definitions. A demand schedule is a table that shows the relationship between the price of a product and the quantity of the product demanded. The quantity demanded is the amount of a good or service that a consumer is willing and able to purchase at any given price. The demand curve in a graph is a curve that shows the relationship between the price of the product and the quantity of the product that is demanded. Market demand, then, is the demand by all consumers aggregated together of a given good or service. At various prices, consumers will change the quantity of tablet computers they are willing to buy. The table and graph will show that as the price of the tablet computers falls, the quantity demanded will increase. At $700, consumers will buy 3 million tablets per month. When the price drops to $600, consumers will buy 4 million tablets. The demand curve for tablet computers is downward sloping, confirming that as prices decrease, demand will increase, and as prices increase, demand will decrease, revealing an inverse relationship. The principle of market demand states that a decrease in price of a product will result in an increase in the quantity demanded for that product as long as all other factors are held constant, where price is the only variable that changes. So what explains the law of demand? The substitution effect influences the amount of a good we will buy and results from the change in price, which in essence makes the good either less or more expensive in relation to goods that we may consider to be a substitute. The income effect is another factor, and it is best explained when we consider a person's budget. With stable prices for all goods and services, a rational person will allocate their income amongst those goods and services that they deem to have the highest value or utility for that person. If, however, the price of a good or product decreases and the person's income stays the same, that individual has a greater purchasing power. With the same amount of money, the consumer can now purchase more of one product or more of every product. By isolating the price and quantity variable in a market transaction, we can observe how much the quantity demanded will change with various price changes. Marginal analysis considers the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. Price is the independent variable, and changes in price impact the dependent variable or the quantity that people are willing to purchase. This provides us with an initial information on product levels and total revenue. Changes in prices, ceteris paribus, which means holding all other factors constant, will change the quantity demanded along an established demand curve. When the ceteris paribus condition is applied to the analysis of market demand, the only factor that changes the quantity demanded is price. When the ceteris paribus condition is removed from the analysis, all other relevant factors, which will be detailed a little bit later, can influence levels of demand for a particular good or service. When the ceteris paribus condition is removed and all other variables are considered, there may be a shift of the demand curve to the right, increase in demand, or to the left, a decrease in demand of an existing curve. In this case, we are creating a new demand curve. When consumers increase the quantity of product they want to buy at a given price, the market curve shifts from D1, demand curve 1, to D2, demand curve 2. When consumers decrease the quantity of a product they want to buy at a given price, the demand curve shifts to the left from D1, demand curve 1, to D3, demand curve 3. Changes in income will cause demand changes in the demand curve for certain goods. Normal goods, for example, is a good for which the demand increases as income increases and decreases as income falls. An inferior good, on the other hand, is a good for which the demand increases as income falls and decreases as income rises. The term inferior good does not imply that the quality of the good is substandard for that good. The implication is that with higher incomes, consumers would prefer to substitute an inferior good with a normal good. For example, as incomes go down in a recession, consumers may substitute buying new shoes in favor of shoe repairs, and substitute hair salon cuts for home haircuts. If we had been analyzing the price and quantity demand for apples, and then removed the ceteris paribus condition and considered changes in the market price for pears, and the consumer believes that apples and pears have the same utility, the quantity demanded for apples will likely change. Complementary goods and services are those that are commonly used together, such as cereal and milk, cars and oil changes, DVDs and DVD players. Consumer expectations regarding future prices will influence not only what products people will buy, but when they will buy them. If consumers believe that the price of gasoline will go up, they may choose to stock up on gas, topping off their tanks prior to the anticipated price increase. Conversely, if one were to believe that housing prices would fall over the next 6 months, they would more than likely put off their immediate purchase of a house so as not to purchase an asset that would be worth less in the future. Tastes are very subjective and are greatly influenced by advertisements, fashion trends, and new technology. The current quantity demanded for a certain product or service will likely change as new products are introduced to the consumer. Population and demographics will also influence the demand for products and services. As the population increases, additional demand for most all products will increase, causing a shift in the demand curve to the right. Demographics will also change the demand for certain goods and services. An aging population will likely demand more medical care, senior housing, and certain vacation destinations. Increases in the youth population will demand different music types and entertainment, and changes in racial demographics will change the demand for certain food products. This chart is a list of the determinants of demand. These are the non-price factors that will shift the demand curve either to the right or to the left. Remember that price alone moves us along a demand curve, where non-price determinants of demand shifts the demand curve either to the right or to the left. When the determinants of demand are not isolated from the economic modeling, a new demand schedule and curves are created. The new demand curves can either shift to the right or to the left, depending on the factors within the market.